All right, race fans, welcome to some late night racing here. Charlotte Motor Speedway, No Bull Motorsports. Tracy set up for some late night action under the lights here tonight. I'll tell you what, it looks like a pretty good crowd gathered for the race tonight.
Yeah, I tell you what, should be a fun race here as they're out there with the trucks. They're not going to be hauling no gravel, but they'll be hauling something as they get around Charlotte Motor Speedway, JD.
You bet. I'll tell you what, looking over there in the chat room, and nobody's logged in yet. Mama Dragon over there tonight watching the race with us. And good evening to you. But I'll tell you what, I'm sure there'll be more that'll join us here after we get going. But Charlotte Motor Speedway, Tracy, 1.5 mile track, and it is one fast track. Backstretch is about 1,500 feet long, 1,900 feet on the front stretch, 1 and 2 banked at about 24 degrees, so is 3 and 4. Straightaway is about 5 degrees. And I'll tell you what, watching some qualifying action taking place right now, Brian Zimmerman currently has the pole at 30.50.
Yeah, I tell you what, that's a great lap out there on this track. And as you look at this track, it looks like it's fairly wide going in the corners. But when you're out there racing, it ain't really that wide at all as you're trying to keep control of that truck through the corners, JD. Tell you what, it looks like 3 cars wide, but when you're running it, it only looks like you hold maybe 2.
You bet. I'll tell you what, you just heard him. That's Tracy Flip Robinson joining me in the booth tonight. They call me the Cowboy. I'm JD Webb. The legend, as Jesse the Outlaw James calls him on Friday nights, John the Bad Boy Wrestling, pushing the buttons on the cameras tonight. Alongside him, Jerry the Corn Dog Wolf. I'll tell you what, having some bit of a technical issue tonight, so hopefully Jerry's going to be able to stick with us all night long here. But I'll tell you what, Tracy, looking forward to some fast action tonight. Why don't we take these guys down through the points here at the No Bull Motorsports Truck Series and let them know who's who and who's where here in this truck series. Kevin Graham sitting at the top, won a couple of races so far in this series. He won last week at Homestead, Miami. The week before that was at Chicagoland. He sits at the top of the pile, 179 points to the good side. David Washington, he's sitting in the number 2 spots. He's 21 points behind the leader, Tracy. And Washington won at Atlanta a couple of weeks back.
Yeah, and third in our points right now, actually down 1 spot, Brad Speidel. He's got 4 starts with 3 top 5s, JD, and he's got 151 points. And in 4th position, up 2 spots, James South. He's got 4 starts, 1 top 5, 3 top 10s with 143 points.
You bet. And sitting in the number 5 spot, no movement this week. Steve Hutton sitting right there in the middle at 141 points. He's 38 points behind the leader, but only 2 points off James South up there in 4th. And in 6th position, Brian Neff. Brian Neff coming in with 124 points. He's 55 off the lead, 17 away from Steve Hutton. So Brian Neff looking for a good run tonight.
And 8th in points right now, up 4 spots, is Roy Carpenter. He's got 3 starts, 3 top 10s, 112 points. He's 67 points behind our leader and 12 points behind Brian Neff. And then tied for 8th is Andy Carpenter. He's got 3 starts and 1 top 5, 2 top 10s, 107 points, 72 back from the leader, and still even with the Roy Carpenter.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, I think we didn't mention the number 7 spot, down 3 positions, Mark Schaefer. He's 67 points behind the leader, 12 points off of Brian Neff. But then down below that, Aaron Hutchinson, or Andy Carpenter, sitting in the 9th position, guys. He's 72 points off the lead. And then Aaron Hutchinson down there on the bottom, rounding at the top 10, 74 points off the lead. And I'll tell you what, Tracy, getting ready for some fantastic racing here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Joe Gothier has taken over the qualifying time at 30.40. That's going to bump Brian Zimmerman back to the 2nd spot on the outside. Qualifying continues here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Why don't we go ahead and step away? We'll take a quick commercial break right here, and when we come back, we'll bring you the action live. ETV Live, the only choice, Cowboy. Charlotte Motor Speedway. We'll be right back. All right, and we are back live as qualifying continues here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And as we said before we went to the break, Joe Gauthier has got the pole right now at 30.403. That bumped Brian Zimmerman back to second. But I'll tell you what, qualifying continues here, Tracy, and looking forward to some fast action tonight. I believe we're going to have, I think we've got about 20 drivers, 19 drivers signed up for the race tonight. So looking forward to some fantastic runs here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's still going to be a great race with this qualifying still got on his case. Oh, with it, Hennekens just took the top spot over with a 30.350, JD.
Case Hinkins, I'll tell you what, that's a lickety-split lap around Charlotte Motor Speedway. And checking back over here in the chat room again, always a fan interactive right here on the ETV Live. Trees76 is logged in. I don't know who Trees is, but hey, good evening to you. And hope you enjoy the ride tonight. Late night action and here from Charlotte Motor Speedway, Noble Motorsports. This race being sponsored by Fast Track Sims. You want to get over there and check those guys out, Tracy. FastTrackSims.com. I'll tell you what, these welded steel cockpits that these guys are building for this for these racing games now. And I'll tell you what, Fast Track Sims got it right on the money over here. They're welded steel frames, and they just finished working on a multi-monitor. They've got a triple monitor mount. Can you imagine having three big 20-inch widescreens out in front of you, and of course all the connections, everything, the mounting plates for your steering wheel, pedals, and a gear shifter, the whole 9 yards. I'll tell you what, just settle right back into one of those custom seats, buckle yourself in, throw your helmet on, and get to racing without even leaving your living room.
Yeah, I tell you what, that'll make a great fit. Feel like you're sitting in the real car, JD, and have all the visuals out the side windows with 3 monitors. Tell you what, it's a great thing to have if you're really a hardcore sim racer, JD.
Yeah, I tell you what, hardcore. That's about as hardcore as it gets. I'm comfortable right here at my wooden desk with my pedals underneath the desk in my old office chair. So I tell you what, I couldn't imagine what my wife would say if I had hauled one of them welded steel frames in the house and said, "Honey, this is going to sit right here in the living room. This is my racing gear."
Like, I don't think you're putting that in there. Is probably what you'd have heard, JD.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't match the furniture very well, would it?
But from what it says there, they could probably paint it and make graphics to fit with your decor, JD.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it was years ago that I remember the first time somebody even thought about doing something like that, and they're actually made out of wood. Had a couple of guys in an old league I used to run who got busy in the garage with the skill saw and the table saw, and next thing we know, we've got these wooden cockpits that these guys had manufactured to mount their computers and screens on, and of course, back then it was just a one screen and a CRT screen. I mean, we didn't even have the LCD screens out back then. But I'll tell you what, the idea's been around for a long time.
Yeah, I tell you what, that's knowing you're a hardcore player when you're out building your own sim seat. But it looks like the 47 of Rob Munoz just took the pole, JD, with a 30.348.
All right, and I'll tell you what, that's going to bump Case Hickens off the numbers up there. Case Hickens down over to 30.35. And Brian Zimmerman, I want to thank him for getting in touch with ETV Live, putting this deal together, live broadcast for the Noble Motorsports Series here. Brian Zimmerman, he's out there on the track. He's qualified in the 6th position so far, 30.50. And we'll keep an eye on Brian here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway. But I'll tell you what, we are getting set for some hot action here at Charlotte just momentarily. These guys get qualifying wrapped up here just in just a little bit. Want to mention a couple of other sponsors here tonight. Koshin Law Group, they're part sponsors of the Noble Motorsports League. And I'll tell you what, if you've got product liability issues, personal injury, that kind of thing, get a hold of Koshin Law Group over there. And and check them out. But I want to thank those guys for getting involved with No Bull Motorsports here tonight. But let's pump up ETV Live too. ETV-eplay.net. You want to watch this race later on, and maybe past your bedtime when this thing is over with. Hey, no problem. ETV-eplay.net. It'll be up probably early in the morning, and you'll be able to watch it again tomorrow at your leisure. ETV-eplay.net. Get on over there and check it out.
I tell you what, the qualifying still goes on. We got a new pole sitter, the 14 of James South. He just turned a blistering time of 30.315, pushing Rob Munoz back to second.
I'll tell you what, James South, he's sitting fourth in the points, guys, in the overall in the truck series. He's only 8 points off of Brad Spittle up there in third. 36 points away from Kevin Graham up there, the leader of the pack in the truck series. But I'll tell you what, a lot of racing left here in the truck series, 10 race series. They're going to wind up the season at Texas Motor Speedway in about 4 or 5 weeks here. So I'll tell you what, a lot of racing left. This is race number 5 for the series, so they're at the halfway point. So plenty of movement could happen here, guys, as these guys continue on with their series. Qualifying should be, I think we've got a couple of more cars to go here. I believe there's 19 that are signed up to run the run tonight, and I think we're 17 cars, so I think we've got a couple of more cars. Why don't we go ahead and take a quick commercial break right here? You're watching live, ETV Live. Hey, cowboy, it's the only choice. Charlotte Motor Speedway with the No Bull Motorsports Racing League. All right, we are back live. Charlotte Motor Speedway qualifying is wrapping up at this time, but I'll tell you what, the Cactus Cutie standing by down trackside. Why don't we go ahead and take it down for the national anthem?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting
All right, we are back live, Charlotte Motor Speedway, and we're about ready to go racing here at Charlotte Motor Speedway with No Bull Motorsports. Starting out on the pole tonight, Tracy, James South qualifying in with a 30.31. Outside him in the second spot is going to be Lee Thompson with a 30.32.
And starting third, Rob Munoz, and then fourth, Casey Hinkins.
All right, and in fifth position is going to be Joe Gauthier, and sixth on the outside, Mark Schaefer.
And in seventh to be Kevin Graham, and in eighth is Aaron Hutchinson.
Jamie English will start ninth tonight on the inside. Outside him, our admin for the No Bull Sim Racing League, Brian Zimmerman.
And starting 11th to be Callum Farley, and starting in 12th to be Brad Spindle.
Randy Hendricks starting out in 13th on the inside. Outside him tonight in 14th can be Brian Neff.
Starting 15th to be Steve Hutton, and starting 16th to be Rick Donathan.
Mitch Linen starting out in 17th on the inside. Outside him, Mark McFadden.
And in 19th to be Andy Carpenter, and 20th to be David Washington.
All right, and we are set for 95 laps here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, Tracy. I'll tell you what, we've been here before. We've seen some awesome action here. These guys are pretty good from what I understand, talking to Brian all week long. So I'll tell you what, we're getting ready for some fantastic racing here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah, I tell you what, Charlotte will be a fun track out there for them guys to run, turning some really fast laps. But as long as these guys got these cars under control, looked like they were doing pretty good in practice, we should have a really good race, JD.
Yeah, you bet. I'll tell you what, not a bad house tonight. 20 drivers here at a late race here for No Bull Motorsports. NoBullMotorsports.com is where it's at. You want to get over there and check these guys out. Hey, if you like this late night racing stuff, get on over there and get signed up with them and have some fun with these guys. James South going to pick up the green flag here at Charlotte. Lee Thompson up on the outside. Rob Munoz with a outstanding qualifying time here. Pace car pulls off heading down pit road, and we're set to go racing here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Why don't we crank this thing up for the audience, John, as James South approaches the green flag, and he's got it. It's in the air, and we are off racing at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Fantastic start here, Tracy. James South out there in front. Joe Gauthier, Case Hinkins side by side there for a while, settled into a single file run now. But I'll tell you what, back here with Lee Thompson up on the outside of that No Bull number 37 machine. He's got the number 80 of Mark Schaefer down on the bottom. And here comes the 11 of Kevin Graham.
Yeah, I tell you what, doing a great job running side by side out there. Unfortunately, that truck is stuck on the outside. There'll be a lot of people working their way underneath him. He needs to get down to that bottom lane as soon as he can, but seems like every time he goes, looks down below him, somebody's still in that spot, JD.
You got Jamie English working his way around as I believe we've just got the caution coming out for the first time here at Charlotte, guys. See if we can't roll it around and find out who brought that one out. As looks like the 77 might be involved. I'm looking at some damage on the 62. That's going to be Brian Neff, guys. So I might have to roll this one backwards here a little bit. Take a look down on my screen here. and looks like the 60 and the 11 car got tangled up here. There might be several of them involved here, guys. Jerry, we got more on this?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, guys, taking a look at here. Actually, it looks like that 77 might have gotten to the back of that truck in front of him, JD. That's what caused that, and then it caused 77 to check up. Straight up into the wall. He's got a lot of damage to the front of that car. It looks like another car down there's got a lot of damage to it as well. So, going to be a tough, I believe it's going to be a tough situation for these guys to get out of so early in this race.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, the 11 car taking a hit like that, the 11, that's Kevin Graham, guys. That's your points leader and winner of the last two races. So he was certainly a threat here, Tracy, at Charlotte Motor Speedway. So that might have pretty much finished off his night here at Charlotte. But I'll tell you what, the 60 taking a big hit too.
Yeah, JD, I've been rewinding and taking a look at it. Yeah, Jerry's exactly right. That 77 got in the back of the 09, and then they bounced into each other one time, which slapped him up into that outside wall, and he came down and really hammered that 60 car pretty dang hard, making it very rough for those two vehicles, as they're going to have a lot of damage to repair on the left side of that 77.
Yeah, you bet. And I'll tell you what, we've got a number of them coming down pit road. Why don't we go ahead and step away? We'll take a commercial break right here. First caution coming out here at lap 4. You're watching live, ETV Live, No Bull Motorsports at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Don't wander off. We'll be right back. All right, we are back, and hey, I've got to apologize to the 11 and the 77. That was not Kevin Graham, guys. Kevin Graham in the 11 machine is just fine. I was actually looking at the 77 machine, Tracy, and I just, kind of a bad angle on the numbers here on the backside of the truck. But that's going to be Mitch Linen involved in that caution, not the 11 car with Kevin Graham. But Kevin Graham is just fine, and he'll be able to continue on searching for that big trophy at the end of the series. Kevin Graham, your points leader here in the truck series. Just checking over here in the chat room one more time. Hey, I know who Dragon Dave is. I know that guy, and glad to have you along for the ride tonight. Some late night action here from Charlotte Motor Speedway. And then Love Graham. I wonder who that is. And Quattro for lift, whatever that means. Quattro
for life,
life.
JD. Come on, get with the language here, bud.
Is that one of them things you see? What do they call them things you put on a license plate? What do they call that?
I don't know, but in the chat room, I believe it's called the shortcut, LOL.
Shortcut, LOL.
Are you talking vanity plates?
Vanity plates, there you go. Some vanity name. Quattro for life. Quattro for life? 4 for life? Is that what that means? All right, and back hat here on the track, and we're going to get seated here and get started again. James South going to pick up the green flag one more time. Joe Gott there up on the outside. Case Hinkins, Mark Schaefer, Kevin Graham, your points leader here, starting out on this restart. That's your top 5. And I'll tell you what, so far, one caution here It came out on lap 4, guys. The 60 involved, the '09, the 77 involved in that. And of course, I made the mistake of calling out the 11 car, Kevin Graham. He is just fine, no damage, was not involved. So we want to make that clear. But I'll tell you what, we are set for 95 laps of racing here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, Tracy. And so far, looking pretty good, except for that little hiccup on lap 4.
Yeah, I tell you what, not too big of a hiccup, but I tell you, Grahams has got a great starting position here. He's only got really one car in front of him to get to that lead, and he'll be starting on the inside with our leader, the 14 of James South. So look for him to get up there to second spot and put some more pressure on them guys up there, JD. I mean, Grahams is there in fifth spot, so he ain't far off there at all as they take the green flag.
You bet, the green flag back out. Why don't we crank it up again one more time, John? Here in the booth. I'll tell you what, checking out the chat room over here as we watch the action down around the track. I don't know who, I got a funny feeling I don't know who Little Dragon is, but trying to jinx the restart? I don't think so. But I'll tell you what, some two-wide action up here in front, Tracy, with James South, Case Hickens up here duking it out, but looks like James South going to hang on to that lead up there. Case Hickens, Joe Gauthier, Kevin Graham. Kevin Graham moving up one spot off that restart, Tracy. Remember, he's your points leader in that 11 machine, and then Mark Schaefer making up your top 5 out here on this restart. 12 of them in the books tonight, 95 scheduled, and so far so good.
Yeah, I tell you what, they got a nice little line of cars going there. Got a few guys jockeying for position, as it looks like the number 11 is going down underneath to take over that third spot, JD. Making a move down under Joe Gunther to try to get that third spot away from him.
You bet. He's working over that number 67 machine of Joe Gauthier up there on the high side. He's two wide out in front. James South, Case Hickens going back after it again. And I'll tell you what, some two-wide racing pretty much all the way around this track a little bit here, guys. You come back here just a little bit more. And we've got, looks like the 32 car of Caleb Farley up on the outside of David Washington. Washington giving that position up to Farley as Farley moves up one, up into 7th position. But I'll tell you what, the action happening up here in the front, starting with Jamie English watching all that out of his switch. We've got Mark Schaefer and Joe Goffler side by side up here. Case Hinkins and James South were side by side. Case Hinkins having to give it up again, Tracy, and James South managed to stay out there in front.
Yeah, I tell you, Kevin Graham, he's got his truck moved up to 3rd position there. See what he can do with our leader. See if he can't get underneath possibly Case Hinkins, and also get around James South to try to get a lead a lap out there. But tell you what, just taking one spot at a time. You got a truck on the wall. Looks like that 32 guy got too high in the corner and dragged that truck against the wall.
All right, no cautions coming out. That's going to be Caleb Farley, guys. Oh, there's the caution coming around. With the 5 car going around here, guys. See if we can't roll it back on the monitor here in front of me and see if we can't pick up on what happened to the 5 machine. Looks like might have been a little bit of electrical issue involved there too, but looks like he might have. Looks like he just got loose there, guys. I don't know if he had any contact from. I can't see who that is down on the inside of him. The 09. But Jerry, have we got more on this?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, just like that, looks like he came down on the side of the 09 there, guys, and got really loose. He almost collected it back up, JD, but it looks like maybe it got away from him, hit the outside of that wall there, spun it around. Doesn't look like it's going to be a whole lot of damage for anyone else, but definitely for him, guys.
But I'll tell you what, just watching it slow motion, trying to figure out how many times he spun around. But I'll tell you what, that's about an E-ticket ride and a half. Oh man, that was quite the spin there, Tracy.
Yeah, I tell you what, it looked like the 09 got in the corner and pushed up, got into the side of that 5. Yeah, like I said, he saved it through the whole corner until just exit, and where he lost it. Yeah, a lot of spins, a lot of damage front to rear, and he'll be getting there to see how much damage those guys can pull out of that truck. Possibly could affect his handling of his truck, maybe cause it to push more going through the corners, guys.
Yeah, and that's going to be caution number 2 coming out here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It just came out here on lap 16. So Rick Donathan bringing that one out. He'll get down on pit road, bring the hammers out, get that sheet metal all straightened up again. But I'll tell you what, we'll keep an eye on things for you. Why don't we go ahead and step away? We'll take another commercial break right here. You're watching live, ETV Live. It's the only choice, Cowboy. Charlotte Motor Speedway, the No Bull Sim Racing League.
Hey dude, are you ready to rock and roll? If that's cool, then you need to do it over at HD Radio Network. HD Radio Network, 4 stations broadcasting 24/7 with everything from metal favorites to the 80s classic rock like legendary Leonard Skinner, Electric Light Orchestra, Foreigner, and bone-rattling, skull-crushing rock and roll on hard driving radio. And partnered with Nuff World Simulation Gaming, check out the HD Radio Network's Nuff Radio with Bear Factory, Stone Temple Pilots, Def Leppard, and a whole lot more. HDRadionetwork.com. Take your pick and rock your brains out, dude.
All right, and we are back live, Charlotte Motor Speedway, and I'll tell you what, Tracy, just checking over here, the chat room's starting to fill up here a little bit more. I know we've got about 18 or 20 people watching the broadcast, but remember, make sure to hit those little tabs down there, find that chat room, go ahead and log on in. Hey, you can chat with broadcasters up here in the booth. And Little Dragon, I know who you are now. Kenny's logged in, he's watching the race tonight. Jason Allison, glad to have you along tonight, guys. And Quattro for Life. Still haven't quite figured out who that is yet, but I'll tell you what, having some fun here with the No Bull Motorsports night here, late night racing, Charlotte Motor Speedway, under the lights. And, you know, I said hello to my uncle the other night in another broadcast out there in Las Vegas, and apparently he got some mixed up communications and stuff and missed the race, but I believe he's logged in tonight, or at least watching the race. I don't think he's on the chat room, but want to say hello to my Uncle Bud out there in Las Vegas, Nevada. And it's only about 8:30 for him out there, so I know he's up and watching. He's a big-time NASCAR fan. And used to climb in behind the steering wheel along with us, Tracy, years ago. Him and my dad would run the league with us. But just want to say hello to my uncle out there and hope you're doing well. In the meantime, tonight's race being sponsored by Fast Track Sims. And I'll tell you what, welded steel stationary simulators. Get over to fasttracksims.com. Check those things out over there. And they're welded to steel frames with 1-inch square tubing. and they'll fit any seat with a maximum width of 22 inches. Floor mount, pedal mounts, whatever you need over there, man. Custom vinyl graphics available too, and I'll tell you what, maybe you can have your wife help you design something that'll match the furniture. Set it right there in the living room as we get set to go back green flag racing here again. Jamie English going to pick up the green flag this time. Brian Zimmerman up there in front. Mark McFadden, Aaron Hutchinson, Case Hinkins still hanging out there in the top 5, Tracy.
Yeah, as we get ready to get this green flag going, get your corners 1 and 2. See how long we can keep them side by side this time. But it looks like our leader got out there a little ways in front of him and is holding on to it. Jamie English doing a great job. Obviously, our other leaders all pitted and they all gained a few spots. And Brian Zimmerman running in the 3rd position, JD.
Bet. And then Brian Zimmerman, he's the league admin here for Noble Motorsports. Good to see him out here on the track tonight, guys. Let's get back to racing. I'll tell you what, 2 wide back here, about, say 13th, 14th position back here. We got the number 3 of Randy Hedrick up on the outside as he just makes a move around, trying to come back around the 48 car back here in 12th and 13th place, guys.
I tell you, they did a nice job out there running side by side. Looks like we've got the 80 car of Mark Schaefer on the inside and the 11 of Kevin Grahams on the outside running that high line along with the old 4 up there in that high line. It's almost sort of like we're at Talladega to a point, JD, as these guys are running side by side, 2 lanes around the track.
Yeah, you bet. I'll tell you what, don't they call that a gaggle of cars or a gaggle of trucks up here? I'll tell you what, there's some hot racing going on up here. From about 7th position forward, guys, 2 by 2, coming down the front stretch at over 180 miles an hour, Tracy. And I'll tell you what, I know what it's like coming down through that front stretch, down to that tri-oval, as they call it. And it can get pretty hairy down there. You got to keep that machine up off the grass when you come through there and try to keep from going sideways on it. But I'll tell you what, 2 by 2 back here coming down the back stretch.
Yeah, I tell you, JD, we did a little rubbing there for a second as the 67 pushed up, got into the side of the old one. Didn't cause anybody any problems, though. Able to keep them truck all going forward. Still running side by side back there. Right around the 7th as we got more contact, JD.
Yeah, it looked like the old floor machine, Case Hinkins, looked like he might have had a little rush on the wall there. Got it back under control, still running forward, but still got the pedal to the metal. But Case Hinkins almost looks like he might have tangled with the wall just a little bit.
Yeah, nothing. Take a little extra paint off, lighten up that truck, make it a little faster, narrowing it up. But it might affect them later. Might get that truck pushing a little more. But they tell you what, they're starting to get aired out here, get everybody single file. Still got the 80 and the 15, or the 80 and the. Can't see what number of the car is there, guys. But the 80 is still side by side with the car.
That's the number 80 with Mark Schaefer with Joe Gothier up on the outside. Still side by side racing here, but I'll tell you what, Jamie English has pretty much checked out up there, guys. James South back here with Gothier up on the outside of him. But tell you what, Jamie English is just about checked out from these guys, Tracy. Kevin Graham was coming on strong before that last caution on lap 16. Worked himself up into the top 5. I believe he was running around 4th position. Kevin Graham, your points leader in the Noble Motorsports Truck Series, Tracy. So Kevin Graham going backwards here just a little bit, back in 6th position.
Yeah, I tell you what, Jamie English just kind of took away from them guys, just ran away, as he's got a 1 second lead in front of everybody, JD. But I did notice Jamie South is starting to cut into that lead just a little bit. He gained about a 1/10 of a second on him there on that last lap.
All right, as Kevin Graham tries to push that number 11 machine forward here, and Joe Gothier having to drop back and take a position up behind. And remember, they were running about side by side here just a little bit ago. But the 10 machine back here looking at the Aaron Hutchinson in 7th position. He's got the 10 up on the outside going past him. And that's going to be David Washington David Washington, your second place points leader here in the series, guys. 21 points in back of Kevin Graham. And I tell you what, David Washington looking for a good night tonight to close the distance on Graham, Tracy.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the guys are doing a great job out here as we've just turned our 29th lap. Tell you what, the 10's putting some pressure on the 01 right now, trying to get underneath them, take over that position as David Washington working over Brian Zimmerman for that 6th position, JD.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, hey, you want to watch this race again? You can do it. You can do it over at etv-eplay.net. You want to get over there, and I'll tell you what, they're just absolutely piling up over there. There is a couple of Sundays worth of broadcasts that you can watch, etv-eplay.net. Just they're all categorized over there, Tracy. All put together real nice and neat. So just select a category, league that you want to watch, and go ahead and go on in there. Even a pop-out player to give you kind of the big screen there, the full 768. 432 that we broadcast in, and I'll tell you what, fantastic, sharp-looking, crisp, clear, and you can even pump up the full screen. You step away about 10 feet. I'll tell you what, man, it looks just like you're watching on television. etv-eplay.net. That's where it's at, folks. Get on over there and check it out. And in the meantime, Tracy, Jamie English, I'll tell you what, he's just absolutely putting numbers on these guys. And he's coming up on a couple of slower cars up here. I want to say that's going to be, I believe that's going to be Rob Munoz and Mark McFadden, I believe.
I tell you what, he's doing a great job out there on old tires too, Davey. Quite a few of them guys got fresh tires, and he's running older ones. He's been able to hold them guys off, run quite a few lead laps, and doing a great job. But it looks like that group caught up to him as Jamie South is now listed as your leader, followed by Mark Schaefer, and Jamie English falling back to 3rd.
But, and I'll tell you what, you know, I haven't been back to the buffet table at all yet, and I don't know what we have. I know Mama Dragon, she usually takes care of that for us up here in the booth, but I'm looking over here in the chat room, thinking maybe she might have put the menu up, but I don't see it anywhere in there. So, have you been back to the buffet table yet?
No, I haven't quite made it back there, JD, but it almost sounds like it possibly could be some Chinese food back there.
All right, we got a race to the lead up here. James South being pressured by like Mark Schaefer back here, guys, putting the pressure on James South up here for the lead.
Yeah, they were doing a great job using that draft to get them up close to the back end of them and trying to take a different path around them there through that corner. But it looks like right at the moment, James South doing a great job holding them back there as the 80's pretty much just mirroring exactly what the 14 does. It gets in the wall just a little bit, JD.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, look back there in that number 3 spot. Here comes Kevin Graham, your points leader for the No Bull Motorsports Truck Series, guys. Kevin Graham restarted after that last caution back in the middle of the pack, around 8th or 9th position, guys, working himself back up into the top 5, now sitting in 3rd place. So keep your eye on Kevin Graham in that level machine.
Yeah, tell you what, making up some time. I'll tell you what, he's just sitting back there thinking, yeah, you guys get up there and race. That way it'll slow him down. I'll be able to get to him a lot quicker here and sooner, JD, and get involved in that race for the top spot. As he's just motoring that truck around the bottom, catching that draft, not having been able to run smooth lines and catch up to our 2nd place truck.
You got and Mark Schaefer just kind of sitting back here behind James South is now he's making a move on the bottom here to turn 2 here. Looks like he's going to move on the 4th train, going to try to get him coming down the backstretch. I'll tell you what, James South has got the pedal to the metal in that 14 machine. He gets into the turn first, but he's not letting off. It's like Mark Schaefer may get him down here on the bottom as they clear turn 4 coming off the bottom down the front stretch, guys. It's a drag race through the tri-oval, Tracy.
Yeah, I tell you what, and that's exactly what Kevin Graham wanted to see as he now closes that gap upon our 2 cars of Mark Schaefer and James South, as them 2 are fighting for position. they better be watching that mirror because here comes Kevin Graham's right on their back bumper now, JD.
But I'll tell you what, Kevin Graham, his last time around was 31 flat to James South 31 290. So I'll tell you what, you don't have to get the calculator out to figure this one out. Kevin Graham staring at both at Schaefer and South up here out his windshield, guys. And I'll tell you what, like you say, that's what he's looking to see here. Which one of those guys is going to wear their tires out first? As Kevin Graham has moved himself up into the top 5. Jamie English, who started out tonight up in the top 5, he's kind of hanging around back there a little bit as well. So Jamie English actually back there in 9th position, but looking to move himself forward.
Yeah, I tell you what, Mark Schaefer back underneath the 14 of James South, fighting to get that lead away. And they got to tell you what, they got the 11 of Kevin Graham right on their rear bumper, just waiting to figure out if these guys can figure out what they're going to do. The question is, was Graham's going to try to make this 3 wide, JD, when he gets a chance on the straightaways? Or he looks like he's backing off a little bit, JD. We've got a caution out.
So a caution flag coming up for the 3rd time here, guys. And see if I can't roll it around here on my monitor and see if I can't find out who that might have been. It's like the 32 car. That's going to be Kalen Farley. If I can't roll it backwards here a little bit. And looks like he might have taken a spin right down here, right at the end of the backstretch, guys, going into 1 and 2, I think. See if we can't catch it. No, might have been... All right, and I think, Jerry, I think you got some more on this.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, guys. It looks like maybe the 60 car may have come up into the side of him, JD. Tell you what's very interesting about that 32 car is if you look at both sides of the truck, he has definitely got some damage to the numbers are wearing off both sides of that truck. So they're going to have to come down here and try to get her fixed up and salvage some of this tonight.
Yeah, you got that right. I'll tell you what, 32 truck taking a big hit, it looks like a couple of times on both sides of that machine tonight. And as he tangles up with the wall, and can't see who that other truck was, but it looks like the 09. But I'll tell you what, more damage, more sheet metal, more ball peen hammers coming out, Tracy.
Yeah, I tell you what, they're going to have to probably get a lot of bear bond out there, get out the baseball bats and the sledgehammer to possibly even jump up and down that back of that bed lid to get it pushed, that spoiler pushed back down, taking a lot of damage as everybody hits pit road, JD.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, we'll keep an eye on that 32 machine down there in the pits. A severe damage to that truck, as they're going to hold him down there for an extended period of time as they beat and bang on that number 32 machine of Kalen Farley. So I'll tell you what, caution number 3 coming out here on lap 40, and scheduled for 95 laps here, Tracy. So we're almost to the halfway point here. So still not a bad run. Last caution coming out on lap 16. So they had a pretty good run in there in between.
Yeah, I tell you, we've got quite a few laps, and I think we're right around, I think, a little over 20 laps they got in that time, JD. Got to see what the tire's going to do in that, so look for these guys to probably push us for green to the end.
You bet, and I'll tell you what, outstanding racing here tonight. Noble Motorsports. Why don't we go ahead and step away? We'll take another commercial break right here, right now, and you're watching live. ETV Live, it's the only choice, Cowboy. Charlotte Motor Speedway. Don't wander off. We'll be right back. Whoa there, Cowboy. Ain't no need to get the hammers out and tear it all up. What you need to do is get a hold of David Bass, DB Tech Services. Technology support offered at a price affordable to most churches, not-for-profits, and individual customers. I'll tell you what, David Bass, IT specialist, over 5 years at the corporate level. Hey man, computer maintenance, hardware and software upgrades. I'll tell you what, David Bass DB Tech Services, established specifically to provide lower cost options to churches and nonprofit organizations. So put the hammer away, dude. Get a hold of David Bass. DB Tech Services, dbtechservice.com. All right, we are back live, Charlotte Motor Speedway, and I'll tell you what, 43 of them in the book, scheduled for 95 laps here tonight. And caution number 3 coming out, 32 machine tangling up with the wall in the 09 car. And I'll tell you what, spent a considerable amount of time down there on pit road, but managed to get his truck straightened out and back out on the highway as we're going to go back to racing here just shortly, Tracy.
Yeah, tell you what, get ready to go this restart here, JD. Looks like everybody's probably getting enough fuel and tires to go all the way to the end of the race. But it looks like Cullum Farley just got the into the longest line penalty. It's probably speeding on pit road, JD.
All right, I'll tell you what, probably not going to amount to much of anything really for that 32 machine. Caleb Farley, he was pretty much the last one in line anyway because of the damage done to his truck, extended pit stops for him. But new leader out here in front picking up some bonus points. David Washington's going to collect the green flag on this restart. James South back up there in the top 5 guys. Mark Schaeffler, Kevin Graham. Kevin Graham, your points leader for the truck series here at No Bull Motorsports. And Joe Gothier, your top 5 up here in the front. But Tracy, pace car lights are off, and he's going to pull down pit road this time around, and we're going to be back to green flag racing here at Charlotte Motor Speed.
Yeah, I tell you what, Mark Schaeffler in the 80 truck, he's got an advantage being in that low line on this restart. Being low is a lot better than being on the high side on these restarts, as all these trucks have taken off. And let's see if Kevin Grahams can't get pulled back up there, but he's stuck on that outside, JD. As they get going, and it looks like we got a nice clean restart, JD.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, Mark Schaeffler up here got a good start up here behind David Washington up here. Mark Schaeffler putting the pressure on, getting around James South as James South is working with
Yeah, JD, Mark Schaeffler got underneath the 10 of David Washington. Looks like he's going to take the top spot. He's going to be followed by James South, who's able to work around Kevin Graham. Take over that 3rd position. Now looking to take over 2nd with James Graham following. They've got David Washington and that 10 truck stuck up on there in the high line. So look for him to be freight trained as we get around these track tonight.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, apologize for a little hiccup there. I lost my mouse pointer. I couldn't see the mouse pointer, so I couldn't click through drivers or anything. I got her back now, but I tell you what, Mark Schaeffler to the lead out there. James South, David Washington. David Washington, he's your number 2 points guy here in the truck series, Tracy. So you've got basically 1 and 2 up here. You got David Washington running in 3rd. You got Kevin Graham, the points leader, running in 4th right behind him. So I'll tell you what, Kevin Graham, he's been playing around up there in the top 5 now since about, lap 16 or so when he restarted in the middle of the pack, worked himself on up into the top 5 on that last run before that caution came out on lap 40. But I'll tell you what, to Kevin Graham, I'm looking to hook it up here tonight. Now, Kevin's got 2 wins here under his belt. The last one came at Homestead at Miami last week, and the week before that was at Chicagoland.
Yeah, I tell you what, JD, I was just looking for our 3rd place person in the points of Brad Spindle. Brad Spindle is back there in about 12th position, JD, making up a spot here and there, but Brad's going to need to get this car back up that top 5. He's got 3 top 5s here racing at Noble Racing, so he's got some work ahead of him if he wants to hold on to that third position.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, we want to make mention of another sponsor here for No Bull Motorsports. That's going to be Global Graphics. I'll tell you what, in business for over 11 years, guys. And I'll tell you what, check these guys out. If you need some business cards, brochures, postcards, any kind of marketing material, I'll tell you what, you need signs made up, get on over there and check them out at www.ncglobalgraphics.com, guys, and check those guys out. And I'll tell you what, went over to their website a little while ago. Tracy was looking around. Tell you what, they put out some awesome looking stuff. So check them out, globalgraphics.com.
Yeah, JD, tell you what, looks like they even make T-shirts. Get a couple ETV T-shirts possibly somewhere like that. But I tell you, we got a great race going out there right now. As Mark Schaefer is holding off James South with David Washington able to hold on to third position. It looks like he's got the 11 of Kevin Graham looking underneath the 10, taking over that third spot, JD.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, here comes David Washington right up on his bumper, too, going to try to get that position back and move Kevin Graham up one. And David Washington, I'll tell you what, he's at 21 points off the lead from Kevin Graham in the points, guys. But yeah, let's take it all the way back to the number 7th position back here. I want to give a shout out to Brian Zimmerman. Brian Zimmerman, the admin here at Noble Motorsports. And Brian having a pretty decent night out here. Now, Brian qualified in 10th position. He's currently running up here in 7th. He's up inside the top 10, Tracy. So Brian Zimmerman having a pretty decent night tonight.
Yeah, I tell you what, he's been up and down our field, too. He was back there a little ways earlier, but they've been able to move up with these our pit stops and hold on to that 7th position. And I tell you, our third place in the points right now, Brad Spindle, and he seemed to lost a spot, moved back to 13th spot in the 76. As we still got cars stuck to the outside, as Kevin Graham looking to get on past the 14 of James South, heading down our backstretch, JD.
You bet. Aaron Hutchinson giving a spot up to it's like Steve Hutt down here in that '09 machine, sneaking past him down here on the bottom. Of course, Aaron Hutchinson, he's got some damage to the back of that machine, and I see he's got some spoiler damage too, Tracy, and that could have an effect on the handling on that truck.
Yeah, I tell you what, his truck's got to be a little looser hitting the corners. If your spindle, if that rear spoiler isn't quite in the right spot, and if it's standing up higher, JD, you're going to have your truck will be pushing, and you'll actually lose a little speed down that front stretch because they're getting a lot more drag on the truck.
Right. Mama Dragon want to know when they're going to buy me a new mouse and calculator. I tell you what, sometimes you just, I don't think it's a new mouse and a calculator. I think it's a matter of just putting my glasses on, trying to find a little pointer on my mouse. Maybe I need to make my mouse pointer bigger. Maybe that's it.
You know, it took us 6 months to just get that little guy to say row.
I tell you what, some two-wide action happening out here on the track. Randy Hedrick back here in 10th position. He's putting the pressure on that number 5 car, Rick Donovan, up here in 9th. So I'll tell you what, Randy Hedrick looking to move up one. And then up on the outside, here comes that number 60 machine of Brian Neff, guys. So Brian Neff enters the picture up here. So we've got a three-way happening up here with Randy Hedrick and Rick Donovan and Brian Neff, Tracy.
Yeah, I tell you, JD, I'm watching up front here, and I tell you, Kevin Graham and James South having a heck of a battle as Kevin Graham gets around him, and it looked like James South was going to do the over-under move on him and was looking underneath the 11 of Kevin Graham, but just didn't have the momentum to get back to him. We're looking for that Kevin Graham to go after Mark Schaefer and try to get that lead, JD.
You bet. I'll tell you what, Kevin Graham on a mission, and I'll tell you what, so was David Washington. David Washington was trying to stay with Kevin Graham up there. Can't do it. Looks like Joe Gothier sneaking down here on the inside. he's going to get the position on David Washington. So David Washington slipping back one, guys.
I tell you, one position, I tell you, he's been following him for a while and just got his way around him. But I tell you what, we got a heck of a battle up there for the lead as Kevin Graham is all over the back of Mark Schaefer trying to find a way around him there, JD. I thought they had a side-by-side there just a couple moments ago, but they didn't. They went back into line. And like you said, Joe's on his way working up to get to that group and race with them.
Yeah, you bet. I'll tell you what, and the 80 pulls up on the outside. I don't know if he missed the turn entrance there or not, but I'll tell you what, got his foot in the throttle, going to recover back, brings it back down in front of Kevin Graham. I think that might have been Graham's shot, but I think he probably realized that Schaefer was in a little bit of a trouble going into that turn and wisely backed off. Kevin Graham going to have to just kind of recoup here and take another shot. But I'll tell you what, Mark Schaefer doing a fantastic job holding Kevin Graham at bay out here in front.
I tell you what, I'm pretty sure he's feeling the pressure from the 11 truck following him there, trying to run a good clean line and hold off position. As we've got a race back here right now, JD, and it looks like Brad Speidel getting around Brian Neff there for the 13th position and 14th.
You bet. And tell you what, these guys back here watching the 16 or the 77 truck of Mitch Leinen up here. He's got the 60 up on the outside. Brian Neff. Now they've got Caleb Farley out front of them. Remember Caleb Farley in that 32 machine? He's the one that took that wild ride back on lap 40, brought the third caution out tonight. So Caleb Farley back here in 14th position, guys, trying to hold his own and stay with it even in a damaged truck.
Yeah, I tell you what, you don't ever want to, get out of these races too soon because you never know what could happen. As we've seen guys work their way back up, get right up there in the front pack. As these are watching our top three cars, duking it out pretty tough up there, JD. Looks like they're pretty much running these trucks for everything they got as we were just turning our lap number 64.
You bet. 64 laps in the book, scheduled for 95 laps here tonight. And I'll tell you what, some fantastic racing we're watching under the lights. Charlotte Motor Speedway, guys. Why don't we go ahead and we'll slip in a commercial break right here, right now. You're watching a live ETV Live. No Bull Motorsports from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Don't wander off. We'll be right back. All right, we are back live. Charlotte Motor Speedway, No Bull Motorsports, under the lights. And I'll tell you what, some late night racing here, Tracy. And I've been watching Kevin Graham, your points leader, up here, duking it out with Mark Schaefer up here in this number 80 machine. And I'll tell you what, Graham has made a couple of tries. He's making one now, coming off of turn 2, coming down the backstretch. I'll tell you what, Mark Schaefer is just not letting him get 1 inch on that number 80 machine up there. And I'll tell you what, Kevin Graham, he's been on the hunt here for about 8 or 10 laps when he took over the second position up here and managed to get up behind Schaefer. But I'll tell you what, Mark Schaefer is just not giving him 1 inch.
Yeah, I tell you what, they're having a great race up there. James South is doing everything he can to get up there with them. And Joe Gauthier, he's trying to. But you know what, JD? Ever since he's gotten that 4th place position, he just doesn't seem to be able to make up any time up on these guys. They're putting on a heck of a pace up there just to stay in the lead of this race. Is the 80 of Mark Schaefer doing an awesome job running that truck hard.
You bet. And then James South entering the picture here too was the 14 now looking under the 11, Kevin Graham. So where did James South come from? I'll tell you what, James South putting the coal to the fire here, guys, and trying to make something up. Now, he qualified on the pole here tonight at Charlotte, so I'll tell you what, he's looking to get it back up here as he now puts the pressure on Kevin Graham.
Yeah, I tell you what, they're doing a great job. But tell you, when he went to go look underneath the 11, the 14, that caused him to slow down just a little bit, and again was able to get Joe up into position there, right on the back bumper of the 14 truck now, under by James South. It looks like the 11 got a run under the 80 of Mark Schaefer, heading into corner 3, I believe we're going through here, JD. Oh, we got contact.
I don't know if that, contact between Schaefer and Graham up here, guys. I tell you what, Schaefer not giving much room for Kevin Graham up here, but Graham finally putting the pressure on and getting side by side here. Now the race is on, but I'll tell you what, James South sitting back here in 3rd. He's watching all that take place up here, Tracy, waiting for one of those two to make their first mistake.
Yeah, I tell you what, Mark Schaefer doing a great job on the outside, calling the 11 to Kevin Graham, and I think we have a caution out, JD.
All right, caution flag is out. That'll be caution number 4, Tracy, as we try to come around and see who it was. '76 machine I'm hearing, guys. That's going to be Brad Spittle. Jerry, we got more on that?
I'll tell you what, guys, I actually don't believe it was the 76 JD there that did that. I believe that might have been the 22 possibly in front of him. Someone got loose up here and spun out in front of him. They were slowing down for, I can't see who that is there, Tracy. 92? They were just slowing down for that 92, and the 76 lost it, JD.
You bet. I think you're right. I think the admin's probably going to hang that caution flag out on the 92 car. He actually started started that whole thing. I think the 76 machine, Brad Spittle, was just he's a victim in this whole thing here, guys. He's trying to avoid that spinning truck up there, and unfortunately spins it around and just barely clips the 92, guys.
Yeah, I tell you what, JD, I'm watching this. Looks like the 01 took the air off the spoiler of the 92. As soon as he got to that left rear corner of his car, that thing just took off and went around.
Bet. And taking a look at it one more time on my monitor, and it looks like you're absolutely right. And I'll tell you what, 92 going for a wild ride there. That's going to be Jamie English. And English having a pretty decent night, but I'll tell you what, the whole back of that truck is just smashed up to the tires, guys. So I don't know, but he may be done for the night, Tracy, but we'll keep tabs on Jamie English in that 92 machine.
Yeah, I tell you what, heavy damage to the back of that truck, guys. But it looks like his crew went in there and they were able to pound it out, get the thing halfway decent looking, and sent him back out, JD.
But I'll tell you what, caution number 4 coming out here on lap 72, and why don't we go ahead and step away, and we'll take a commercial break. You're watching a live, ETV Live. It's the only choice, cowboy. Charlotte Motor Speedway. Don't wander off. We'll be right back. All right, we are back live. Charlotte Motor Speedway, No Bull Motorsports under the lights here. Late night racing here at Charlotte, and just checking over here in the chat room one more time. And I see my uncle has made it to the race. Of course, I don't know if he was watching prior to this, but he made it into the chat room over there. Good evening, Uncle Bud. Hope the weather's pretty decent out there in Las Vegas, as it's getting pretty warm over here on the west side. But I'll tell you what, good to have you aboard tonight. Hope you're enjoying the race. In the meantime, back out here on the track, guys, Kevin Graham, your points leader, finally made it out to the front, guys. Mark Schaefer, I remember they were duking it out here about the last 10, 15 laps, Tracy. Graham putting the pressure big time on Schaefer. And fortunate for him, the caution comes out on lap 72 with the 92 machine, and it's just through a series of pit stops here. Fast pit stops going to put Kevin Graham out there in front. David Washington is your number 2 man in the points. He's going to line up in third. Joe Gothier, James South making up your top 5 here on this restart, Tracy.
Yeah, I tell you what, the person who lost a little bit of time in the pit roads this time was that 14 of James South. He'll be starting 5th when he was running 3rd out of the field, so his crew kind of fumbled a little bit on him, dropped him back a couple spots. But like you said, Joe Guthrie are moving on up, getting up in that top 5, running in 4th out there, and going to be starting on the outside, JD.
You bet. I'll tell you what, that was a pretty decent run there. About 28 laps or so from the last caution. Last caution coming out on lap 40. That was with the 32 machine of Caleb Farley. But Farley now running inside the top 10, Tracy, and I thought the damage on that 32 would have done him in for the night, and would have been stuck hanging around back there in the back. But I'll tell you what, Caleb Farley is doing a pretty decent job up there in the top 10. So 76 laps in the books here at Charlotte. The lights are out on the pace car, and we're going to get set to go back green flag racing again. And I'll tell you what, this is going to be a hotly contested race to the end. You got Kevin Graham and Mark Schaefer up here, guys, who have been duking it out for the last 10, 15 laps before that caution as the pace car dives down on pit road. And I'll tell you what, the 80 car and the 11 machine up here off to a decent start. Kevin Graham gets the jump there, Tracy, as we're back to green flag racing.
Yeah, I tell you what, it looked like the 14 of James South was sleeping a little bit on that restart, JD. I tell you what, they've got spread out quite a ways. The leader gets out there and got a pretty comfortable amount. But I tell you, we've got David Washington there right back in his back bumper. I tell you, we had a car move up in the top 10 now. Now the 37 of Lee Thompson, somebody we haven't talked about tonight, but he's solidly up there in that top 10 too, JD.
We got less than 20 laps to go, and I'll tell you what, this is when the races usually get started, the last 20 laps of any race, anywhere, anytime, as David Washington putting the pressure on the 11 machine for the lead up here, guys, and Mark Schaefer back here in third, watching all that happen. 3 wide going down the backstretch, going into turn 3, as the 11 up on the outside, the 10 on the inside, and I'll tell you what, all 3 have still got their pedal to the metal, Tracy, as looks like Washington is going to get the better of that. Kevin Graham up on the outside, coming down the front stretch, 2 by 2 with the 10 on the inside. Washington's going to get scored for that lap.
I tell you what, great racing up to the 80 side to back out of the gas, entering 3 wide in that corner. I was still able to stay with that group. As the 10 bumps into the 11, gets him a little squirrely, he taps the wall, and has the 14 has to check up a little bit. Because now the 14 of James South is underneath Kevin Graham to try to take over that 3rd position. But your new leader right now holding on that position is David Washington, being followed by the 80 of Mark Schaefer.
I'll tell you what, James South, I don't know if that was a beat move your ass or what that was up there. I'll tell you what, new leader up there, David Washington, he's your number 2 points guy. He's 21 points in back of Kevin Graham. Kevin Graham dropping back into 3rd position, guys. I'll tell you what, this is going to be quite the finish. 15 laps to go here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, so we are on the tail end of this, Tracy, as the action's coming alive out here coming down the front stretch.
Yeah, I tell you what, the guys are doing a great job. Like you said, we're down to 20 laps to go. This is where everybody has to hang out and push as hard as they ever do. It looks like the 80 is about bump drafting that 10 down the straightaway, JD.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, James South back here in this number 14 machine, he's looking for a place to go. Can't quite find a hole between that 11 car and that the 80 machine. But I'll tell you what, that David Washington trying to keep all three of them at bay coming down the front stretch here, guys. I'll tell you what, lickety split around Charlotte Motor Speedway is there. I'll tell you what, David Washington just making that truck just as wide as he can possibly make it, 2x2. Mark Schaefer and Kevin Graham back here and south with nowhere to go.
Yeah, I tell you what, there's no room to move up there, but tell you, we got a heck of a battle back here in the pack, JD, as I'm watching Case Hykins working real hard on the high side there. They got pushed up, lost a few positions. We got quite a group of cars here running side by side back here in the 8th, 9th, 10th through Bobby's 13th position, JD.
Yeah, you know what? I've always said that maybe they ought to start the race at about lap 80 or so. Get the last 20 laps in, that's when the racing really starts. And I'll tell you what, it's all over the track, but we're keeping an eye on the action out here in front. David Washington took the lead here about 5 or 6 laps ago. I'll tell you what, he's making that truck just as wide as he can possibly make it. The 80, Mark Schaefer sneaking up on the outside now, but he's got the 11 of Kevin Graham down here on the bottom. James South, he's taking position up on the outside, trying to get past that 11 car, guys. And I'll tell you what, James South qualified on the pole here in Charlotte tonight. I'll tell you what, he's looking to try to take a trophy home here tonight from Charlotte Motor Speedway, and just can't get it together, as looks like the 17 machine of Joe Gothier sneaks in on the bottom.
And look out now, here comes Rob Munoz coming up. Tell you what, Rob was actually a lap or two down, but then cautioned him to be a lucky dog. He was way back forward. He's running the 6th position underneath the 14 of James South, trying to get up a position. And they're all moving forward. Tell you what, we're getting a big group of cars out here for the lead, JD.
Bet, and I'll tell you what, 10 laps to go here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. No Bull Motorsports, and it is no bull, my friends. I'll tell you what, a battle for the front up here is just a pretty wild racing going on here. David Washington, Mark Schaefer, Kevin Graham, Joe Gothier, and James South, your top 5 up here. I'll tell you what, they've been duking it out now since that last restart on lap 72. But I'll tell you what, the racing going on elsewhere on the track, guys. Hey, keep pushing the car. The camera's backwards. 4th position, back to 5th position. James South, your qualifier, your pole sitter tonight, qualified on the pole, is duking it out back here. Had a position up there in the top 5, Tracy, but he's losing it lap after lap here as a number of them get past him on the bottom.
Yeah, JD, they got him stuck on that high line. I'll tell you what, doing a great job hanging in there, but now he's moved back to the bottom as we got the 11 looking underneath Mark Schaefer to take over that 2nd position and see what he's got for our leader, the 10 of David Washington.
I'll tell you what, Schaefer and Graham have been going after it side by side here for a number of laps. And I'll tell you, it's got to give somewhere here soon. And I'll tell you what, they're absolutely got the pedal to the metal around Charlotte Motor Speedway here, guys. 2x2 racing from the get-go from that last caution. That was back on lap 72. So I'll tell you what, more than 10 laps into this run, guys, 2x2, as they finally get straightened out into single file. And I'll tell you what, 88 laps in the book, just a handful of them left here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, Tracy, probably saving it up for the last couple of laps.
I'll tell you what, that 47 car is making a heck of a move. Made a pass on the 67 car on the outside, JD. Tell you what, that was a power move. As now he gets underneath the 11, as the 47 is making his way to the front.
You know, I'm wondering if Schaefer and Graham might have burned up their stuff here early part of this run. And tell you, you know, we went back green flag racing about lap 73, 74, somewhere in there. So I tell you what, you know, that's about another 20 some odd lap run here. So you know, I'm wondering if these guys might have just burned up their stuff on the get-go.
Yeah, I tell you what, JD, the left got up to the wall there a little bit, dragged his right side against it. I tell you what, watch out for 47 of Rob Munoz, as he's taking over second position, JD. This guy is just going out there and just taking them down. As we got 10 laps to go, a little contact just behind him with the 80 and the 67.
Roger, and I tell you what, 5 laps to go here, guys. And I'll tell you what, David Washington is holding down the fort up here. But I understand we got one around, Trace, John. No caution coming out. Then looks like the 67 car of Joe Goth here, guys, going around. He's down here on the grass on the front stretch. No caution is out. 91 of them in the books. 4 laps to go, guys, as Joe Goth here tries desperately to get that machine off the track, that 67 machine. I'll tell you what, they're going to be coming around here in just a few seconds, Tracy. So Joe Goth here in big trouble down here on the apron as he's about.
Yeah, I tell you what, Jamie, we're looking at the replay. It looks like he got into the side of the 80 car on the exit corner and really got himself loose on exit, just spun around out there in the front of the out there in the grass. But I tell you what, our leader got out there a little ways, David Washington, and now Rob Munoz trying to work his way back forward. Tell you what, he was a lap down early in this race, and now is looking to possibly get the victory.
Yeah, and I got to, back out here in front with 2 laps to go here, guys. I'll tell you what, David Washington still holds down the fort. Rob Munoz up there in second. Mark Schaefer, James South, Kevin Graham, your points leader, having given it up, falling all the way back to 6th, guys. I'll tell you what, burning the stuff off the tires in the 10 or 12 laps that they were racing up here probably did him in pretty good. But David Washington's got trouble brewing in the form of the 47 machine of Rob Munoz. Rob Munoz through the grass, guys, managed to save it back up on the track. I'll tell you what, this is quite the finish to this one. Gets a piece of the wall as the 80 comes alongside. I'll tell you what, one more lap to go here. David Washington still out in front, but Munoz in big trouble, manages to save it, guys. But I'll tell you what, that may have done the 47 machine in.
Yeah, I tell you what, JD, he hit those sections where the tar is, and that truck was actually in the air a little bit. But he took a little front spoiler damage there, and now it's kind of affecting his car. But I tell you what, he's coming back after that 80 to try to get back into 7th position. Tell you what, did a great job not to lose that vehicle in the grass.
Yeah, you got that right. And I'll tell you what, final lap coming around, white flag lap. David Washington out there in front. Oh, contact to 47 and the 80 machine out here. Mark Schaefer and Munoz in trouble, guys.
Hard in the wall. Yeah,
hard in the wall. And that's going to terminate the race, guys. David Washington is going to be your leader with Mark Schaefer finishing second, and unofficial results are going to show with the 47 of Munoz in third.
They tell you what a race, JD. They were racing, and the 47 dived underneath the 80, and the 80 came down, and they made contact, sending that 47 through grass for the second time in 2 laps.
Unbelievable. I'll tell you what, the racing sure came alive after that lapse caution on lap 72. I'll tell you what, a terrific effort by Kevin Graham up there, your points leader, duking it out up there with Mark Schaefer in that number 80 machine. David Washington sneaks in from behind, takes over the lead, and going home with the trophy tonight from Charlotte Motor Speedway. But I'll tell you what, we'll keep an eye on David Washington here as he makes his way around the track. Hopefully he'll get it down here near the start-finish line, and we'll watch him for a little bit. Burn the rest of what is left off of those tires. Certainly not a whole lot, Tracy. But I'll tell you what a race here. I think a pretty good night here at Charlotte.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, a race out here in Charlotte. Great job by these guys to get it finished with very few cautions. Tell you what, made some exciting racing there at the end as Rob Munoz with 2 laps goes through the front stretch of grass, but second time wasn't able to save it like he did the first time.
Yeah, you bet. As we watch David Washington burn what's left of his tires off on the start-finish line up there. I'll tell you what, terrific night here for No Bull Motorsports. And tell you what, why don't we go ahead and step away? We'll take a commercial break right here, and we'll get ready for, we'll call it the Fast Track Sims post-race show here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. So sit tight, don't wander off. We'll be right back.
That'll work.
Hey dude, are you ready to rock and roll? If that's cool, then you need to do it over at HD Radio Network. HD Radio Network, 4 stations broadcasting 24/7 with everything from metal favorites to the 80s classic rock like legendary Leonard Skinner, Electric Light Orchestra, Foreigner, and bone-rattling, skull-crushing rock and roll on hard driving radio. And partnered with Nuff World Simulation Gaming, check out the HD Radio Network's Nuff Radio with Bear Factory, Stone Temple Pilots, Def Leppard, and a whole lot more. HDRadioNetwork.com. Take your pick and rock your brains out, dude.
All right, and we are back live, Charlotte Motor Speedway, and I'll tell you what, Fast Track Sims post-race show, and I'll tell you what, I'm standing down here in Victory Circle with David Washington, and I'll tell you what, you come from a qualifying run that put you in 20th position and worked that thing all the way to the front. Tell me about your run tonight, Dave.
Well, messed up coming out of 4 there and put her up on the wall and put me last. And I had no clue that if my gas pedal was going to hold up or not. I did some last-minute repairs and just tried to stay out of any wrecks if any was going to happen and just try to stay clean.
All right, I'll tell you what, getting out of here with 4 cautions tonight, looks like you managed to stay out of the way of all 4 of them. But, there for a while, you're duking it out up there towards the end of the race with that 80 machine, Mark Schaefer. Rob Munoz was in the picture, that 47. So was James South. And I'll tell you what a finish to the race here tonight. And I'll tell you what was going through your mind looking back and seeing all that traffic coming at you?
To tell you the truth, I wasn't even looking in my mirror. I was just running my lines. The only time I looked in my mirror is when I saw Mark getting closer to me. I just had to make sure that I kept hitting my same marks and not mess it up to push up so he can get the bottom. The only way I was going to let him go was the outside, and it was just, he tried it. It was tough. As long as I kept my bottom and kept hitting the same marks, it stayed there.
All right, I'll tell you what, congratulations on the run tonight, and I'll tell you, big points night for that number 10 machine for you. Any shout-outs out there you want to give?
Oh, yeah, definitely Koshi and Law Group. 2 sponsors my truck, sponsors the league, Global Graphics, ASA, my teammate, Mr. Zimmerman, and I'm having a blast.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, again, congratulations on the win tonight, going home with the big trophy. I'm going to throw it down pit road just a little bit. Tracy Robinson standing by with our second place finisher tonight, Mark Schaefer.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'm down with a second place finish to the 80 truck of Mark Schaefer. I tell you what, Mark did a great job. But I tell you what, you had to be kind of concerned when you were watching that 47 heading through the grass. What were your thoughts at that moment?
Oh crap, what'd I do? I mean, I was trying to keep a clean truck all race, just trying to bide my time, not push the truck. Just go out there, try to get a solid top 5 finish.
Yeah, I tell you what, you ran up front, got the lead, and ran quite a few lead laps, and tell you what, just went out there and ran a good race. And tell you what, you did a great job. Tell us how you think the race went all together.
I think it went pretty good. I had a lot of pressure from Kevin, but him and I have raced together since I've started on iRacing back in early 2010. It was a really good race. We'll put on a great show like they usually do. I'd like to thank David and Brian and Steve for putting this on. Rick couldn't do it without you guys.
Are there any sponsors out there you'd like to thank tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to thank 5 Star Adjusting. It's a company that me and my dad are working on, and we're just trying to get some business. I'd like to give a shout out to my mom. Hope you feel a little bit better.
All right, well, that's your second place finish tonight, the 80 of Mark Schaefer, and I think throw it down to John. You caught up with the lawnmower guy tonight?
Yeah, Tracy, I've caught up with him, but this is wintertime. There's no lawn mowing going on. Well, there might have been just a little bit of trim job tonight, but great job tonight, Rob. A great job from your group here at No Bull Motorsports. A very exciting race, and I'm sure the racing action out there had to get your blood pumping tonight.
Yeah, it sure was. It started all early too. We had some technical difficulties, and we started the race 3 laps down. So that's why we were in the back the whole time. Finally got up to the lead lap and had to go through everybody, and got a chance to run up front and against David, but he was awfully fast. He was hitting his mark. Uh, just getting together with Mark there a little bit towards the end. We just didn't have any time where the laps were running down, and we brought it in home in third. We're pretty proud.
Was it a big struggle trying to get those laps back, Rob, or did the cautions fly just right for you tonight?
Well, at times I was thinking that the flags weren't going to fly, and I was just going to have to start driving it pretty hard and try to get the laps the hard way. And eventually they flew, but it also gave me a chance to see what the truck was going to do under extreme driving conditions. And somehow this track and the trucks, I just love it. Love the combination, and we were flying tonight. And I just would have hoped I would have started third like I needed to, and I think it would have been a little bit more exciting for us.
Buddy was watching you. We had the ETV cameras on you a lot tonight, coming from the back to the middle to the front. You was all over the place tonight, kind of like Tony Stewart did in the chase. You just had to pass a lot of cars tonight, didn't you?
Well, sometimes it gets to a point where you got to do what you got to do. You can't rely on cautions or somebody spinning or something like that. And we're here to race. I get paid to drive, and that's what we're doing. And got an awesome team. I'd like to thank Premier Towin for helping me put this together. And also got to thank No Bull Racing, the awesome league here. Everybody has got a lot of talent here, and I'm just really liking it.
Well, there you go, race fans. That's that 47 machine of Rob in that 47 machine. And JD, I'd like to set it back up to you, buddy.
All right, and I'll tell you what, Tracy, you know what? We've been traveling around here with ETV in the old ETV bus, that old 1948, whatever it is, and those paisley curtains in the windows. And I tell you, we go from league to league and broadcasting these races, and I just get impressed everywhere I go. And I'll tell you what, another one in the books here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway for No Bull Motorsports. 4 cautions here at Charlotte. And I'll tell you what, averaging about 20 plus laps in between each one of those cautions. Some awesome looking runs. And what a fun night at Charlotte Speedway tonight.
Yeah, I tell you what, did a great job here at Charlotte. A lot of two-wide racing. These guys were able to stay out of each other and just keep racing hard. I tell you what, that top group that ran up front, tell you what's changed around all night. There was always somebody different leading there. And tell you what, these guys just put on a good, fun race and a lot of clean driving going on out there, JD.
Absolutely, and I don't want to tie this broadcast up too much longer, but I'll tell you what, a lot of fun here tonight. And I know it's a late race for a lot of people, but I'll tell you what, we're going to be back here again. That's going to happen on January 17th. And I'll tell you what, that's going to be some late model stuff at Stafford Raceway. 100 laps, a short track racing, dude. I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to that. And, if you want to check out some more racing events, tune in to etv-eplay.net. Get on over there. Check out the schedule over there as Friday night, this coming Friday night on the 13th. That's going to be the B-Class Showdown with Jesse the Outlaw James. And I'll tell you what, his co-host, John the Bad Boy, he'll be there for sure. And, of course, Jerry the Corn Dog working the cameras as well. But I'll tell you what, some fantastic racing on Friday nights here. You want to catch that. Then on Saturday night, the Harold Lowry Super Speedway Series over at VSR. That all starts at about 9 o'clock Eastern over there on Saturday night on the 14th. And then I'll tell you what, check the calendar over there at etv-eplay.net. And a lot of good racing coming up here in the books. So I'll tell you what, for John the Bad Boy Wrestling, Jerry the Corn Dog Wolf, Tracy Flip Robinson, hey, they call me the Cowboy. I'm JD Webb from Charlotte Motor Speedway, No Bull Motorsports. We'll see you on the 17th.